Hi, my name is Dennis Stevenson. I'm a registered financial advisor and I specialise in mortgage debt reduction planning. I show my clients how to save an average of $167,000 in interest and save an average of 15.7 years off their mortgage, all while they get to keep their existing lifestyle. That's my huge point of difference, keeping your existing lifestyle.
A very warm welcome to this demonstration of the mortgage game model, which will run for around 20 minutes or so. This demonstration will answer the questions that you have about the mortgage game model, and that'll show you how you could easily achieve the same results that my clients have. Right, so how does it all work? This is our agenda. We'll work our way through it step by step. We'll kick off with who's going to benefit from this 20 minutes to make sure that this is for you. And why listen to me is a little bit about myself. Where's the proof? Well, it's incumbent upon me to validate how well the mortgage game model works, so we'll take a look at some results and some industry validation. What's the promise is about what happens when you implement the mortgage game model. Then we'll move on to the 3 biggest mistakes that borrowers make. Now these are the 3 boxes that you need to tick if you're serious about paying your mortgage off faster than you ever imagined possible. Then I'm going to talk about the mortgage game model, which provides proven solutions to the borrower's mistakes and provides simple steps which easily enable my clients to pay their mortgage off much faster than the standard bank setup allows. I'll show you what resources are available to help you so that you can start making some informed decisions. And then I'll take your questions in the Q&A at the end. I'm going to be as direct and transparent with you as I possibly can. I'm really happy to answer all the questions that you might have about the mortgage game model, but bear in mind please, this isn't a training or implementation session, it's a demonstration. But it's a really good taste of how my clients start attacking their mortgage. Righto, let's get into it. Okay, who will benefit from this demonstration? If you've got a mortgage greater than $80,000 with more than 7 years left to pay, then there's a pretty good chance that I can show you how to save a lot of interest. If you're a borrower wanting a simple, measurable way to pay your mortgage off faster than you ever imagined possible, while keeping your existing lifestyle, then you're in the right place. This demonstration's for you. Simple because I've taken the complex and used technology to make it easy to understand and then turned it into a quick process of simple step followed by simple steps. Measurable because you can see tangible results very quickly, and let me tell you, that becomes infectious. Faster because I shave 15.7 years off my average client's mortgage. I do this while my clients get to keep their existing lifestyle. Now think about this. If my average client went to the bank and said, "Can you show me how to take 15 years off the term of my mortgage?" You know what's going to happen, don't you? They're going to go to the only tool available to them, a bank mortgage calculator. They're going to plug your numbers in and tell you that you have to double your fortnightly payments, or probably more, in order to take 15 years off your mortgage. Now that's going to impact on your lifestyle. In any event, many borrowers already struggle to pay their mortgage, so increasing mortgage payments simply isn't an option for a lot of people. Why listen to me? I paid my first mortgage off in less than 4 years. That's a feat some of my clients aspired to and achieved. I first started mortgage debt reduction planning in 1988. Back then there were no mortgage debt reduction tools, so I had some software written for my scientific calculator, and that's all I had way back then. I started trading as Freehold Express in 2008. Despite all the advances in technology, there were still no meaningful tools to help borrowers. There were only tools designed by lenders to boost lenders' profits. So I had to develop my own mortgage calculators, mortgage debt reduction software, and all the systems. And that's how the mortgage game came to be. Instead of my clients paying too much money to the lender by way of interest, I show my clients how to easily create, capture, and harness interest savings and use that money, which would have been paid to the bank by way of interest, to repay principal off their mortgage instead. The $167,000 in interest that I saved my average client, which would have been paid to their bank by way of interest, goes a long way toward paying their mortgage off instead. So that's what I do. Let's move on to some more important validation. Where's the proof? Now here's something that we've probably all done. We've probably paid money to someone who said they could help us with something, and then we've found that 3 months later we've lost money. We don't really have anything to show for it. So I think it's very, very important for you that I prove, as far as I possibly can, how effective the mortgage game model is. I've pulled together some data from my last 20 clients to show you what sort of results we're getting. Then I've got some proof and finance industry validation for you. These are the sorts of savings that we're talking about. Everybody's financial circumstances are different, so each result's also different. So that's an average saving of 14.75 years and $191,000 in interest saved. And that's just their starting point. Now, imagine that $191,000 being paid back to the bank in principal instead of interest, how the bank had planned. Now that's worth thinking about, huh? How far would $191,000 go toward paying your mortgage off? This is Steve and Megan. They paid their 24-year mortgage off in less than 5 years, and they saved over $130,000 in interest. Because my mortgage analysis is conservative, like a good number of my clients, Steve and Megan were able to beat my original results. You'll notice that's a pretty common thread running through all the testimonials. It doesn't happen just by chance. I actually set it up that way. I aim for a conservative mortgage analysis result by withholding some strategies that aren't included in the initial mortgage analysis. So when I train my clients, I'm able to say, right, now you know how to achieve your result. And if you do this, you'll beat it. And if you do this, you'll beat it. Still, while you keep your existing lifestyle. It's all about choice. My client's choice. They go at it as hard as they want. Some do both. Some raise their lifestyle, and they still smash their mortgage. Meet Jonathan Nyman. I showed Jonathan how to shave 14 years off his 22-year mortgage of $275,000. He planned to pay his mortgage off in August 2018. This is 3 times faster than his bank had planned. Jonathan thinks he would have paid his mortgage off in less than 5 years, which is almost 5 times faster than his bank had planned, if he hadn't purchased 2 rental properties, renovated his home, and bought a couple of motorbikes. Jonathan's about to buy his 3rd rental property and will swiftly pay off the remaining $15,000 mortgage on his home. He saved well in excess of $137,000 in interest, and all of this was done in only 7 years and 8 months. My website's loaded with lots of testimonials just like these. There's some very powerful and sometimes emotional testimonials from all sorts of people. You'll even find a chartered accountant owning up to having done it all wrong when he explained why he rated my training at 10 out of 10. Let's move on to some finance industry validation. Meet Dean McDougall. He's the CEO of Newpark, which is one of the largest financial service companies in New Zealand. Newpark has a membership of around 400 financial advisors. Previously, Dean was a Commodore in the Navy. When he resigned his commission, Dean was the Deputy Chief of the Navy, so he's one very clever guy. Here's what Dean had to say. To say I was impressed with what I discovered would be an understatement. The plan was easy to understand, made complete sense, stood up to searching questions, and is nothing like the debt reduction plans my bank had recommended. Well, the promise, as I call it, is very simple and it's easy for me to deliver on. I'll show you how to pay your mortgage off faster than you ever imagined possible while you get to keep your existing lifestyle. And I don't want you to pay my fee until after I show you how. You see, I trust my clients to pay me after I've delivered. I show them how to achieve their mortgage analysis results so there's no grey areas, no room for ambiguity. They're absolutely crystal clear on how to achieve their mortgage analysis results, and then I give them everything they need to do it, all of my intellectual property. The reason for this is because my clients rate this training at an average of 9.93 out of 10, and then they can't pay my fee quick enough. You will pay your mortgage off simply and easily. That's because if it's too hard, then it just doesn't happen. You will be in full control of your mortgage. I show my clients how to easily take control from their bank, and that's hugely empowering for my clients. There's no more guessing. You know what you have to do, and you know how to do it. You will swiftly see tangible results. Now this is the part that provides all the motivation and drive when you see what you've achieved quite quickly and with the ease with which you've achieved it. It becomes infectious. You will receive extra strategies to beat your plan. As I mentioned before, I've withheld some strategies which enable you to beat your plan. This is why the model is called the mortgage game. My clients called it that. They treat it like a game they play with their bank. The harder they play the game, the more they beat the bank. You'll be empowered to beat your plan. When we implement the mortgage game model, suddenly you're in a very powerful position, a position that you've never been in before with your bank. You're now the one in control. So there you go, folks. That's my promise to you. Succinct, clear, and unequivocal. So all of this is done, and I only ever ask one thing of my clients. Just keep on doing what you're doing. I just want you to keep your existing lifestyle, and the mortgage game model will simply and easily step you through it all. Borrower's 3 biggest mistakes. Now this is 30 years of experience talking here, so in my experience, these are the 3 biggest mistakes that you need to fix. They're by no means the only mistakes, they're the biggest ones. If you don't fix these 3 mistakes, at best, you'll be paying your mortgage off the really hard way, and you could do much better, or at worst, you'll still have a mortgage at age 65 or older. Mistake number 1, using bank mortgage calculators. I never use bank mortgage calculators, and if you're serious about paying your mortgage off fast, nor should you. How a mortgage is structured and how a mortgage is paid has a massive impact on the amount of interest you pay and consequently the term of your mortgage. A bank mortgage calculator will never show you how to structure your mortgage correctly. By clever design, bank mortgage calculators get you to focus on the only meaningful variable that you have some choice over: interest rates. Now let me tell you, interest rates have absolutely nothing to do with structuring your mortgage correctly. Isn't it incredible to think that despite all the technology gains, bank mortgage calculators haven't changed at all for decades? Bank mortgage calculators, they're the problem. They don't help. Instead, they condition you to pay your mortgage off on your lender's most profitable terms. Based on my client's financial circumstances, my unique software calculates how a mortgage should be structured and paid. Mistake number 2, trusting your bank. Don't you get sick and tired of lenders boasting about their skyrocketing profits every other quarter? Banks are there to make money. At no point do they want to save you money. And New Zealand lenders are by far the most profitable lenders in the 35 country members of the OECD. Make no mistake and be under no illusion. Your bank is out to make money and they're exceptionally good at it. You're not important to them. Your money is. Banks are not your friend. Banks are merely a means to an end result, and you should choose the end result, not them. Banks' tools and systems are designed to boost their profits. They don't help you. They're designed to distract you and keep you as a client for as long as humanly possible. That's how they make so much money. If you trust your bank, you'll end up playing the mortgage game their way, and you'll probably pay for your home 2 to 3 times over in unnecessary interest costs. You're probably not going to retire when you want to because you'll still have a mortgage, and you sure won't have the money in the bank that you should have when you do finally retire. You will have paid far too much of your hard-earned cash to your bank in unnecessary interest. Unfortunately, borrowers tend to roll over because they've been skillfully conditioned to think there's no other way but the bank's way to pay their mortgage. If you don't change the mortgage advice that you get, and if you don't do something different to fix these mistakes, your current situation will remain permanent and you're going to be paying your mortgage the really hard way, and banks will continue to post record profits. Mistake number 3, failing to plan. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Those that fail to plan to fail." And that's my experience with mortgages. The reason why most people pay for their home 2 to 3 times over in unnecessary interest costs is simply because they never put a plan in place to achieve any other outcome. You can't build a house without a plan. So why would you try and pay for a house, the largest capital expense you'll likely ever incur without a plan to do so. If you've tried a plan of any sort before and failed, it was probably because you used the bank's tools and it was just too hard. They make it hard, really hard. The mortgage game model demonstration. Here we go, more good stuff. Let's talk about the model itself. We're going to take a quick look at the first 3 steps of the model. These first steps provide the solution to the 3 biggest mistakes. Identify. Right, what do I mean here? Identify your goals. You need to understand what's important to you in life. A typical goal might be to pay your mortgage off before you're 50, build your dream home, purchase more rental properties, or early retirement. Whatever spins your wheels, really. It's important to identify the problems with your mortgage. And let's not just state the obvious here, like, I've still got one. Let's drill down and understand why you've still got one. Maybe you've just never had time to do anything about your mortgage. You've been too busy. And believe it or not, that's probably the most common reason I come across. The irony I see here is that people are too busy going to work just to pay the interest on their mortgage to stop and do something about it. Next, we need to identify the obstacles that are preventing you from achieving your goals. It might be that you can't afford to retire until you're 85 because you'll still have a mortgage. For most people, the largest obstacle is interest. You can overcome these obstacles, but you probably can't see how just yet. You should commit to achieving your goals. I call this drawing a line in the sand and saying, enough's enough. This is just nuts. It's time to do something about my mortgage. Don't think about it anymore. Just do it, or it'll never happen. Analyze. This is actually one incredibly transformational step. This step can make the impossible seem possible, and it turns dreams into reality. There's a lot you can do with your time and money if you don't have to pay for your home 2 to 3 times over. You need to understand your current financial situation. That's your income and expenses, and your assets and liabilities. Once you're happy that you've got a good snapshot of your current financial situation, I can analyze that for you. You need to discover what you can actually achieve within your current financial situation. This is the driver that provides you with the motivation to do something about your mortgage. Chances are you'll be dumbfounded when you learn what you can actually achieve while you get to keep your existing lifestyle. It's often life-changing for my clients when they learn how to structure and pay their mortgage on their terms instead of their bank's terms. And I have to tell you that it defies all logic that you've been conditioned to believe over generations by the banks. It's different, much different. I offer an online mortgage analysis. There's no charge for it. Here's my mortgage calculator. A meaningful mortgage analysis should factor in your entire financial circumstances, not just the interest rates your lender wants you to focus on. Interest rates have nothing to do with it. I need to understand the income, the assets, the liabilities, and the expenses. Now, there's no rocket science here yet, no magic yet. These are just my tools. My clients use them online in a simple form. They can enter their data quickly and answer a few simple questions. To establish the correct mortgage structure and the most efficient way for my clients to pay their mortgage off, much faster than the standard bank setup allows, I run full financial reports, which captures all of the client's data. You won't find any bank mortgage calculators that can do this. So there it is, one 7-page mortgage analysis. Like I said, there's no charge for it. I've changed the client's names for confidentiality reasons. Based on the data, my software calculates how much interest you can save and how many years you can take off the term of your mortgage while you get to keep your existing lifestyle. That's just a starting point. I give my clients more strategies which enables them to beat these results. I have to tell you, they were more than happy when I showed them how to take that $198,000 which they were going to pay to their bank in interest, and I showed them how to use that money to pay their mortgage off instead. Now take a look at their cost of delay. Each month that they delayed putting the mortgage game model in place, it was costing them $2,361 in unnecessary interest costs. Now that's $28,000 a year or $544 a week just wasted. You wouldn't write out a check for $544 every week of every year just to boost banks' profits if you could easily avoid it, would you? You can see how I've used technology to take all the hard work out of paying your mortgage off. Assess. Right, let's see what assess is all about. Once you've had your situation analysed, you're able to assess the information and start making some informed financial decisions. Assess the options available to you and decide the best option that will enable you to quickly and easily achieve the outcomes you want. A robust mortgage debt reduction plan should comprise of around 17 simple interacting strategies which dovetail together and can easily be deployed at the right place at the right time. 2 or 3 strategies just don't cut it. And remember, if you haven't fixed the core problem of correctly structuring your mortgage and paying your mortgage off on your terms, then you're paying your mortgage the really hard way. So that's the first 3 steps to the mortgage game model. The mortgage game model puts my clients in a substantially better financial position than they were in before, and it happens pretty quickly. Here's an analogy that you'll be able to relate to. Complex combination safes are usually associated with banks, so I thought it was quite relative. The whole thing's like a combination safe. It's easy to get in if you know the right sequence and the right combination. Otherwise, it's just about impossible. We all know the banks don't want you to get into their safe. They put lots of barriers up before you can get anywhere near it. And your mortgage really isn't much different. And that's essentially what the mortgage game does. It cracks it for you, quickly and easily. It avoids all the frustration and it provides clarity and certainty. More resources. I've got online resources that you're free to use, and like I said, I don't charge for a mortgage analysis, so if you spent 10 to 15 minutes filling out the online form, it'll probably be the best thing that you ever did. Well, that's what my clients tell me anyway. If you follow this link, themortgagegame.co.nz, you'll be able to get your free mortgage analysis from there. You'll land on this page here. It's about the only way you're ever going to find out for sure what you can easily achieve without being forced to needlessly change your lifestyle. Okay, so that's the demonstration. I hope that you've got a good taste of what I can offer. I also hope this demo's given you the motivation to help yourself by getting a mortgage analysis and putting a stop to the banks using your money to post record profits. You could also book a chat with me from this book a chat link or directly from my website.